I always thought gaming was just a phase people outgrew. You know, like how I stopped playing Halo after college when real responsibilities kicked in. But Sarah, my wife, the woman who used to fall asleep during Marvel movies, she spent the last 3 months building a second life in Roblox. And I'm starting to think it's not just a game anymore. It started small. After we put the kids to bed, she'd disappear into her office for an hour or two. I didn't think much of it. We all need downtime, right? But then Jake, our 8-year-old, started coming downstairs around 9 p.m. asking when dinner would be ready. Turns out Sarah had been skipping meals to stay online. 3 times that week, I found him eating cereal at the counter while her office door stayed shut, the blue glow of her laptop seeping through the crack. The laundry pile became a mountain. Unopened bills stacked up on the kitchen counter, which was weird because Sarah's always been hyper-organized. She used to color-code our calendars. Last Thursday, though, I got a call from Jake's soccer coach. Practice had ended an hour earlier and Sarah never showed. I had to bail on a client meeting to pick him up, and when I walked through the door, she was still in her robe, clicking away at her mouse. "I lost track of time," she said, not even looking up, like it was no bigger than forgetting to thaw chicken for dinner. I tried to stay calm. I've never been the type to yell. Even when she forgot our anniversary last year, I just booked us a nice dinner and called it a wash. But that night, after the kids were in bed, I checked our shared iPad. Notifications from something called Eclipse Realm kept popping up. 2:17 a.m., 3:04 a.m. Sarah's never been a night owl. Now I find empty energy drink cans in her office trash and hear her snoring on the couch at 2 p.m. while Jake struggles with his math homework. The money stuff hit harder. A $200 charge from Roblox popped up on our credit card. When I asked, she said it was for Jake's birthday gift, except his birthday's 6 months away. And when I checked her purchase history, she'd bought something called Dragon Gem Bundles. Then I saw our joint savings, down $1,200 this month. She'd been ordering Uber Eats every night because cooking takes too much time. The worst part? Jake knows. Last week, he whispered to me while I packed his lunch, "Mom says her online friends are her real family now." He said it like he was telling me a secret about where the cookies were hidden, all quiet and careful. I didn't know what to say. How do you explain to a kid that his mom's choosing pixelated strangers over him? I tried talking to her again last night. "You're jealous of my happiness," she snapped. Jealous? Of what? The dark circles under her eyes? The way she jumps when her headset beeps, like one of Pavlov's dogs? I didn't say that, though. I just stood there, staring at the Eclipse Realm wallpaper on her laptop, some glowing purple castle thing, while she told me she's taking a week off for a virtual convention. Jake overheard and asked if she'd still read him Harry Potter before bed. She said, maybe tomorrow, in that vague way people promise to call back and never do. A guy at work mentioned his cousin's wife left him over some mobile game. She maxed out their credit cards buying virtual swords, he said, laughing like it was a joke. I didn't laugh. Now I'm sitting here at 3 a.m., listening to Sarah's keyboard clatter through the wall. I've started handling bedtime solo. Jake asked me tonight if we can move his dinosaur nightlight closer to the door so I don't trip when I check on him. He shouldn't have to think about that. I don't know what Eclipse Realm is giving her that we're not to have. Community, purpose, but at what cost? Our savings are bleeding out. Jake's becoming a ghost in his own house, and I'm typing this in the dark like some middle-aged teenager hiding a diary. Sarah just walked past the living room to grab another Red Bull. She didn't even notice me here. Now for the first update. It's been 10 days since I first posted about Sarah's Roblox obsession. I wish I could say things got better, but they didn't. They got worse in ways I couldn't have imagined, ways that made me realize this isn't just about a game anymore. The virtual convention started last Monday. Sarah moved the living room TV into the guest bedroom and set up a nest of blankets on the floor. By Wednesday, the room smelled like sour energy drinks and unwashed hair. I'd find her there at 3 a.m., hunched over her laptop, whispering into her headset about quests and loyalty points. Jake started wetting the bed again. The first time, he came to my side of the bed at midnight, tears streaming down his face, clutching his Spider-Man pajama shirt. "I'm sorry, Dad," he kept saying, like it was his fault. The pediatrician said it was stress-related. Sarah slept through the whole conversation, passed out on the couch with her headset still on. That's when I started digging. Not because I wanted to, but because I had to. Her gym bag was shoved under the guest bed, full of crumpled receipts and a credit card statement I'd never seen. $3,800 in Roblox charges over 3 months. The dates lined up with nights she'd claimed to be helping Jake with coding games. When I confronted her, she laughed. Actually laughed. "The Realm's architect role cost $500, she said, like she was explaining a stock portfolio. "It's an investment." Her eyes looked glassy, not drunk, but wired, like she'd mainlined caffeine straight into her veins. I froze the card that night. Sarah's reaction wasn't anger, it was colder, calculated. "You think you can control me?" she said, leaning against the fridge. "Watch me drain our savings." She said it calmly, like she was discussing the weather. I believed her. Sleep's been impossible. I've been lying awake listening to her keyboard clatter through the wall, guilt chewing through me like a rat in the walls. Last night, I did something I never thought I'd do. Opened her laptop while she was snoring on the couch. The Eclipse Realm chat logs glowed on the screen. Dozens of messages about divine missions and recruitment quotas. Sarah's username jumped out at me. Eternal Oracle. Moderator status. There were spreadsheets tracking member activity, lists of people who'd contributed to the realm's growth. Our joint savings wasn't just funding her addiction. It was bankrolling a pyramid scheme disguised as a game. Googling Eclipse Realm felt like falling down a rabbit hole. Forum posts from former members called it a cult. One woman wrote about selling her wedding ring to buy virtual land. Another mentioned being pressured to cut off family members who didn't support the community. Sarah's college friend Dana texted me out of the blue. She asked to borrow $5 for a startup. "Did you guys open a business?" I stared at my phone, imagining Sarah lying to her oldest friend with the same detached ease she'd lied to me. I tried therapy again. Couples counseling could help us communicate, I said, leaving Jake's parent-teacher conference notes on the counter. She'd missed it, of course, too busy moderating a realm event. Sarah snorted, "Only weaklings pay strangers to fix their marriages." The irony hit me later. She's spending thousands on pixelated validation, but actual help is beneath her. Jake's teacher called yesterday. He's been falling asleep in class, his homework half finished. When I asked Sarah to check his math sheet, she said he's 8. It's not astrophysics, but here's the thing. She used to sit with him for hours, patiently explaining fractions with chocolate bar analogies. Now she can't spare 5 minutes. Changing the account passwords felt like declaring war. Sarah retaliated by selling my Fender Stratocaster on Craigslist, the one I'd saved up for in college, the one I played at our wedding. She got $400 for it. The realm needed upgrades, she said, not meeting my eyes. That guitar survived 3 cross-country moves. She sold it in an afternoon. The flight itinerary broke me, printed out, tucked in her underwear drawer between old birthday cards. A one-way ticket to Nevada during Jake's birthday week. Realm retreat, the heading said. When I asked her about it, she shrugged. It's important. I lost it then. More important than your son. She zipped her suitcase, a hard-shelled thing I'd never seen before, and said, "Watch me." Her mom cried when I called. Sarah's always been intense about her hobbies, she said, which I guess is Midwestern for obsessive. In college, it was marathon training. Last year, it was sourdough baking. But this isn't the same. This isn't a freezer full of starter. It's a hole in our savings, a son who flinches at loud noises, a wife who looks through me like I'm furniture. This morning, Jake showed me a drawing from school, a family portrait, him holding my hand, both of us smiling under a crayon sun. No Sarah. When I asked where she was, he said, she's busy with her game. Matter of fact, like he'd accepted it. That's the worst part. He's not even angry anymore. Just resigned. I'm sitting here now listening to Sarah pack in the next room. Her suitcase wheels scrape against the hardwood, a sound that makes my teeth ache. Jake's asleep down the hall, his nightlight casting dinosaur shadows on the wall. I keep thinking about that credit card statement, the way Sarah said investment with such conviction. What's the ROI on a broken family? Sarah's plane leaves at 6 a.m. She hasn't mentioned Jake's birthday once. 10 days. That's all it took to go from worried to wrecked. I don't know what happens next, but I do know this. Whatever's in Nevada, it's not worth what she's leaving behind. Now for the second update. It's been 3 weeks since my last update. I've started measuring time differently now, not in days, but in court filings, missed bedtimes, and the number of times I've had to bite my tongue until it bled. Sarah came back from Nevada with a tattoo, a black crescent moon wrapped in thorns, right above her wrist bone. I only noticed because she reached for Jake's juice box at breakfast, her sleeve riding up. He flinched when her hand brushed his. "Cool sticker, Mom," he said, voice thin. She didn't correct him. The recruiting started the next day. Mrs. Alvarez from 2 doors down cornered me while I was hauling trash cans to the curb. "Your wife's been persistent with my grandson," she said, lips pressed into a line. Turns out Sarah's been lurking outside the middle school, handing out Eclipse Realm flyers printed with our home inkjet. She told Mateo his Fortnite skills were wasted on lesser realms. I apologized until my throat hurt. Mrs. Alvarez patted my arm. "You look tired, Mijo." I served Sarah the separation papers that afternoon. She was cross-legged on the porch swing, her phone casting a blue glow on her face. "Whatever," she said, not looking up. The pen scratched as she signed, quick and mechanical, like she was autographing a receipt. I expected rage, bargaining, something. But she just took a selfie with the documents and posted it. #free at last. The 401k loan hit me sideways. Our financial advisor pulled up the statement, her manicured nail tapping the screen. She took a hardship withdrawal, she said, like I didn't already know. 60% of your joint assets are gone. The numbers blurred. I kept thinking about Jake's college fund, the one we'd started when he was 3 with spare change from her nursing shifts. Sarah used to joke we'd need a fortune cookie fund if he kept losing teeth. Now that money's buying virtual castles for strangers. Jake's changed. He hides her iPad under his bed, wedged between stuffed animals he claims he's too old for. Last Tuesday, I found him standing on his desk, screaming at her through a closed door. I hate Roblox. Give me back my mom. His voice cracked on the last word. Sarah didn't come out. The divorce papers arrived on a Thursday. Her lawyer's letterhead was crisp, expensive. Emotional abandonment, it said. I laughed out loud, a sharp, ugly sound, until I realized she'd paid the retainer with the same loan that drained our savings. The irony tastes like battery acid. Master Void messaged me, a Roblox DM because of course. Release Sarah to her destiny, it read. His avatar stared at me, a pixelated monstrosity with glowing red eyes. I typed back, go to hell, then deleted it. What's the point? He's already won. Jake's nightmares are the worst part. He thrashes, cries for someone who isn't here anymore. I've memorized the creaks in his floorboards, the way his nightlight flickers at 2:37 a.m. Sometimes I think I hear her laughing through the wall, but it's just the wind. She missed his school play. He was tree number 3, a masterpiece of construction paper leaves. I filmed the whole thing on my phone, my thumb blocking the lens twice. Jake didn't cry until we pulled into the driveway. Silent tears, the kind that leave salt tracks but no sound. I held him until my arms went numb. The journal wasn't even hidden. Left open on the coffee table, pages splayed like a gutted fish. Her handwriting, once neat, nurse-precise, was all jagged spikes. Earthly bonds are illusions, she'd written. Sacrifice is the price of ascension. Underneath, a grocery list. Energy drinks, protein bars, wireless mouse. Normalcy and delusion, side by side. Her sister called me at dawn. Sarah asked for Mom's emerald earrings, she said. The heirlooms from Mexico, the ones that survived 3 generations. Said she needed to borrow their energy. I drove to her mom's house and swapped the earrings with cubic zirconia replicas. The real ones are in my glove box. I don't know why I bothered. Changing the locks felt final. The locksmith kept side-eyeing me like I was some paranoid husband in a Lifetime movie. Sarah showed up that night, pounding the door at 3 a.m. I need my headset, she demanded, breath fogging the glass. Jake slept through it, thank God. I slid the headset through a cracked window. Her fingers grazed mine, cold, like she'd been standing in snow. Jake started calling me Mom Dad. At first it was a joke, now it's a lifeline. He says it when he's scared, when he needs permission for milk, when Sarah forgets to text on weekends she promised to visit. Every time it cracks me a little wider. The PI footage was worse than I imagined. Grainy security cam clips of Sarah at a Starbucks, her laptop glowing while Jake's school calls lit up her phone. 11 missed notifications. The PI hesitated before handing me the report. You sure you want to use this? Yeah, I'm sure. The court dates moved up. Next Tuesday, 9 a.m. My lawyer says the neglect evidence is solid, but warns me not to hope too hard. Family court's a roulette wheel, she said. I've started practicing my testimony in the shower, water sluicing off words like stable and best interests. Sarah's in the driveway right now, arguing with a Uber driver over her oversized suitcase. She's headed to another Realm meetup, this time in Arizona. Jake's watching from his window, forehead pressed to the glass. When I asked if he wanted to say goodbye, he shook his head. She'll just be late anyway. 3 weeks. 3 weeks since I last posted, and it feels like 3 lifetimes. The Sarah I married, the one who cried when we adopted a dying fern, who made pancakes shaped like dinosaurs, she's gone. What's left is a shell that looks like her, talks like her, but would rather chase digital ghosts than hear her son laugh. I don't know if we'll win custody. I don't know if the bank will approve the loan modification. I don't know if Jake will ever stop checking his closet for monsters. But last night, as I lay on his floor counting his breaths, he mumbled in his sleep, "Love you, Mom, Dad. For now, that's enough." Now for the final update. It's been 6 months since I last posted. 6 months of court dates, supervised visits, and learning how to be someone I never thought I'd have to be. Jake calls me Mom, Dad now. At first, it made me flinch, but lately it sounds like a badge of honor. Something earned through packed lunches and nightmares, soothed. The court granted me full custody. When the judge said the words, I didn't feel relief, just this heavy, hollow ache. Sarah got supervised visits every other Sunday. She showed up to the first one clutching a 6-pack of energy drinks, her pupils blown wide. The supervisor later told me Sarah spent 20 minutes explaining the cosmic hierarchy of Eclipse Realm to Jake. He spent the visit building a Lego spaceship, his shoulders hunched like he was trying to disappear. When she left, he asked, "Does Mom think I'm a mission now?" We sold the house. Couldn't afford the mortgage on my salary alone, not after Sarah drained the accounts. The realtor staged it with throw pillows and scented candles. Like that could erase the shadow of Sarah's gaming chair, indenting the carpet. Jake took one look at the for sale sign and said, "Good. This place smells like Mom's energy drinks anyway." We moved into a townhouse near his school. The walls are thinner, but the shower has better water pressure. Small victories. Ran into Sarah's old boss at the grocery store last month. She was buying baby carrots in the organic aisle. "Heard about Sarah," she said, not meeting my eyes. Turns out Sarah got fired months ago for logging into Roblox during surgeries. The hospital found out when a patient's family recognized her username, Eternal Oracle, blaring from her phone in the recovery room. Her boss shook her head. She was one of our best nurses, always stayed late to check on post-op patients. For a second, I saw the Sarah I married, the one who'd bring home hospital blankets for Jake's stuffed animals. Then the image flickered out. Eclipse Realm disbanded. Saw it on the local news, a fraud investigation. Mastervoid embezzled over $500,000 from members. Some sued, others just vanished. Sarah's apartment got evicted, and her mom told me she's been crashing with other former members. They call themselves Realm Refugees, her mom said, her voice cracking. She asked me for gas money last week. I told her I'd give it if she went to therapy. She hung up. Jake's night terrors stopped 3 weeks ago. Woke up to him standing in my doorway, clutching his pillow. "Can I sleep here?" he asked. No shaking, no tears. Just a kid who wanted company. The next morning, he ate a whole stack of pancakes. Didn't mention Sarah once. She called me 2 Sundays ago. Not her usual time. Jake was at a birthday party and I was scrubbing ketchup off the couch. Her voice sounded raw, like she'd been crying for days. "They took everything," she said. "I have nothing left." I thought about the Sarah who used to sing off-key to Disney movies, who'd save the last bite of cheesecake for me. Then I pictured Jake's face when she missed his birthday. "You can see him when you finish rehab," I told her. The line went dead. Bought Jake a puppy, a golden retriever mix with one floppy ear. He named it Buddy. "Not Oracle," he said, scratching the dog's belly. "Buddy's better." The first night, the puppy chewed up Sarah's last remaining hoodie. Jake laughed until he hiccuped. "Got a promotion at work. My boss said it's because I thrive under pressure. The raise isn't much, but I started a college fund for Jake. It's got $237 in it. More than Sarah left us, at least." Sarah's mom sent Jake a birthday card last week. Purple glitter, cartoon dinosaurs. He used it to make origami cranes during art class. The glitter was annoying anyway, he said. "One crane sits on my desk now. It's lopsided, wings uneven. Perfect. I still check her Roblox profile sometimes. Old habit. Last login was 87 days ago. Her avatar's still dressed in the virtual gown I helped her buy for our 5th anniversary. Jake caught me once. "She's not coming back, right?" he asked. I closed the laptop. "Not unless she fixes herself," I said. He nodded, like he'd known all along. This morning, Jake hugged me before school. Not the quick squeeze he's been doing lately, a real arms tight around my neck hug. "I'm glad you're my mom, Dad," he mumbled into my shoulder. The bus honked outside, and he bolted, backpack bouncing. I stood there, holding his abandoned cereal bowl, and realized I hadn't thought about Sarah once that morning. The guilt hit first, sharp and familiar, but then something else. Not hope, exactly. More like quiet, like the air after a storm passes. Sarah's working at a gas station now. The manager's my cousin's friend. She plays mobile games during her shifts, he told me. We're giving her one more chance. I didn't tell Jake. He started drawing family portraits again. Just him, me, and Buddy. No thrones, no glowing symbols. Just 3 stick figures under a crayon sun. Maybe one day Sarah will get help. Maybe she'll miss us enough to claw her way back. Or maybe she'll keep chasing the next realm, the next Master Void. Either way, I've stopped waiting. Jake lost his first tooth last night. He insisted we leave it for the floor fairy instead of the tooth fairy. "The floor fairy gives better presents," he said, like it was obvious. I slipped $5 under his rug. When he found it, he grinned wide enough to show the gap. "Told you, Mom, Dad." For the first time since this started, I believed him.